narrowboat adventure. So today I'm going to talk about etiquette. I looked up loads of information about etiquette when we decided to move onto a boat, just because I was very interested in making sure I didn't make myself look silly or upset anyone really. So these are a couple of things that I think are kind of important stuff. And if you have any ideas of things you think are important, or if you disagree with me, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. So we'll start off with water-based sort of driving information. We'll go from there. So when you are driving past someone face to face, you pass on the right. If you are driving past moored boats, it's always polite to slow right down, because it really does give your boat a good bashing around if you go too fast when you go past someone. If you're coming up to a lock and there's someone just behind you and you're both narrowboats, then go ahead, share the lock with them, rather than them have to wait for you to go up. They have to empty the lock and then they go in and fill it all up again. It just saves a bit of time for everyone, even if you have to wait for a few minutes for them to catch up with you. If you come up to the lock and there's somebody else coming into the lock from the other end, whoever the lock is already set for is the person who goes in first. So if you're coming in from down at the low point and somebody else is coming in from the top point, it's if the lock is empty, you go in first. If the lock is full, they go in first. Really simple logic, but locks are very confusing. I'm going to do a video about locks sooner or later, I promise you that. If you are going to leave a lock, it's always very, very important to close the paddles. If you don't close the paddles, it means all the water from upstream ends up going downstream. So everybody upstream ends up grounded, which is a massive pain in the butt. And it just means that nobody can really move. So that's really important to know. And the last bit of driving information is just if you come up to a tunnel and you see someone coming through it, always best to wait for them to finish coming through the tunnel before you enter the tunnel. It can be really dangerous passing in a tunnel, especially some of the tunnels in the UK. They are very small and really only wide enough for two boats to only just pass. So it's just much, much safer to wait. Most of the ones that are very small are one way anyway and should have a sign letting you know. So then we're going to get on to land-based information. So as far as mooring, what to do, what not to do. If you're going to moor up next to someone, it's really nice to ask them if they're okay with that, if they're in. If you do need to moor up next to someone, or you need to talk to somebody who's on a boat, I would knock on the side of the boat before stepping onto the boat. Especially with the smaller boats, they move around such a lot if you stand on the side that you could spill someone's tea all over their lap if they're not ready for it. So just a quick knock on the side is much more polite. Don't moor at lock landings, which is the space just behind a lock, or water points or things like that if you're not actually using them. So if you moor in a water point, or if you moor in a lock landing and you just stay there for 2 weeks, it means that everybody who wants to use the water point, or everybody who wants to get onto the lock, is going to have a much harder time when they come to doing it, and it's just not very fair. So although if you may have been looking for ages, just keep going, because it's just such a pain in the butt for anybody if you do sort of get stuck where someone's kind of popped themselves into the water point just because there's nowhere else that they can see. Unfortunately, most of the places in the UK you can find somewhere to moor. And that brings us very nicely onto the L sands. If you've been in the L sand, please give it a wash down. Don't leave it all horrible and gross, because it's not very nice for the next person. Pretty obvious really. And much like being a normal naser, try not to be too noisy at night. Don't run your generators really late at night, that's just a pain. And I think that's everything now. If you can think of anything that I've forgotten, let me know down below. I'm going to be doing a video like this, but etiquette for gangoozlers, so if you have any gangoozler etiquette, please do again let me know down below. As you can see, some of my plants are starting to do quite well, so that's all very exciting, and I will update you on that very soon. And have a lovely day. Thanks for joining us on this narrowboat adventure, and if you'd like to come again, please do subscribe, and have a wonderful journey in life. Bye!